What is up, YouTube, and welcome to Behind the Wall, presented by Perky Jerky. I am Junior Nation 5788, here again with my co-drivers, Thermite 917 and Kane Junior 88. This episode, we're going to be discussing the Dover race weekend, mainly the AAA 400, as well as the truck race and Xfinity's, kind of sprinkled in. So this race weekend was pretty interesting, that's for sure. The Cup race was pretty stout. Certainly a lot better, right from the get-go. It was so much better than the last fall. We saw some good stuff, so we got plenty to discuss. What'd you guys think of it? General impressions?
Yeah, I mean, the whole weekend was really good. I think Cup, for once this season, was actually the best race. It was just a lot of loose cars, a lot of sliding around, multiple grooves, great battles for the lead. I mean, you don't see that too much. A lot of comers and goers, some decent-sized wrecks across the board in all three series. It seems like the monster was back this week, and I'm happy to see that because this track has not had some great racing over the past few years.
So the racing was really surprising out of the weekend, and just mainly in the Cup race. I couldn't believe as I was watching it, just like, man, this is a pretty good race we're having here. Like there was enough going on. It was just weird things. It was almost like the Coke 600. It was a very attrition-filled race. You had some crash damage, some mechanical problems, just weirdness throughout the field. Tires going down. You just had a nice little mix of everything. It was just an interesting race, and I think that was really great. And Kane, since you're breathing very heavily, I can tell you're anxious to jump in. So go ahead and let us know what you thought.
I thought it was a great race. It really was. Now, I don't know if it was any better than well, actually, yeah, it was way better than last year's race, because, like you said during our Facebook chat, last year's race was boring for, the first, 350 laps, and then the big wreck happened, and then it was exciting. But, for this race was exciting for all 400-something laps that they ran, including for the green-white checker. Outside of the finish, this was one of the best Dover races I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. It was just a really good race for Dover. So, but there's a lot to cover, man. There was the first stage was pretty crazy. You had a lot going on. Obviously, very early on in the going, again, Brad Keselowski had last 2 weeks has had really terrible luck as far as just getting the race going. I mean, that's the second time now it's had a very early on wreck. Kurt Busch just got simply loose, slammed right into him, and that's it. Day done. Just as quick as that, he ended up finishing. It was next to last. Even before that, Ricky Stenhouse, he started very well, and he had a very early problem 2 times, having a tire go down, and poor old Lil Hug hugged the wall a little too much. I saw somebody tweet on Twitter, I have to share this one, that Ricky Stenhouse was really not happy with the absence of Corey LaJoie, so he was taking his place.
Ryan Sieg did go for a spin.
That
in
is
his
true.
debut.
Ryan Sieg, he just went. He had to. But he had to get in there.
That was the only time he made a scene though. So he kept it clean for the rest of it. He had to get that out of the way. But Corey LaJoie, he uses the whole race to get out of the way. So.
In Corey's defense, he has gotten better. So, but still, yeah. I found that funny. So yeah, those were the first couple of things that happened early on in the race.
Then Kurt's tire blew.
Yes, Kurt Busch.
Yeah, that was
massive tire explosion. Wow. Destroyed it.
That actually tore the back window out of the car almost. And it was such a powerful blast.
Yeah, and obviously the side window, and I think even the roof had some damage. It was just a huge mess.
Yeah. And he took it surprisingly well. After the little hissy fit that his brother had last week. I watched his interview with, I think it was Jamie Little. He was disappointed, but he wasn't angry. He's like, you know what? It happens. I'm disappointed, and we're gonna move on.
Well, Kurt's not Kyle. Okay. Kurt, yeah. Kurt used to have a really bad temper, and sure, he can be a radio sweetheart at times, but he's not Kyle. I think he's gotten an awful lot better after he had to endure the years of pain, especially with the Phoenix Racing car. After his whole Penske meltdown, he's become a much more mature driver. You know, Kyle hasn't
Yeah,
exactly had the same route as Kurt, or maybe
no.
he'd change. But LOL, who am I kidding?
Yeah, I really want to hear Radioactive when Kyle lost his tire today after the pit stop. I wonder if, he was usual Kyle or if he was just like, whatever. But
You guys suck.
Damn it, Goodyear!
It was all Goodyear's fault that his crew didn't get the tire tight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Man,
And
what
then
else happened
another
after
tire.
that? There was just so much.
I don't know, because I know Logano cut a tire. He went in the wall. That pretty much
That's
ended his
true.
day, but he wasn't really a factor anyway.
No. They've been struggling a little bit. Those guys have not been up on power for whatever reason the last at least 2 weeks, and obviously they've had poor finishes. Joey, yes, did have a tire go down and had several different problems. He lost many laps and was never really seen from again.
There was another moment where Larson had to take 2 tires on one of the pit stops, and he held everyone off pretty good. He was saying that he was pretty much on defense the whole race, and that was a good example of it. But he did a great job. The only time he really made a mistake was that final restart, and he, lost another one at Dover right at the end. So
Yep, he botched that one, but we'll get into that shortly. Martin Truex Jr. ended up winning both stages, so he looked like he was obviously going to be a very strong contender, and he was. He was basically one of the main three that were in the fight for the race win all day long. Kyle Larson and Jimmy Johnson being the other two. Tires were a really big thing all day. There was a point midway through, I believe, the second stage where it was like, man, these guys only have like maybe 3 brand new sets of stickers left for
yeah.
over like 150, 160 laps. And with the amount of cautions it seemed like kept happening, and the tire failures, because there was, obviously a significant amount of tire wear, it was a big concern. And it was just, I think teams are really lucky they just made it to the end of the race, and they had I guess, a perfect allotment of tires, but it did make things really interesting, and teams had to go resort to scuffs, putting them on, and even staying out when they didn't want to. Tires were a hot commodity, and they didn't always have them at their disposal. And for some reason, they had one less set than they did last year. I guess it's just a continuous trend that NASCAR is trying to add, I guess, a new strategy element into all these races by having less tires available. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it made it interesting. So I guess that's a good thing.
I think it was a better tire than Charlotte, definitely, because in the Cup race here, you could stay out and you'd fall back, but not like horribly. Like you saw McDowell stay out at one point, and he was able to kind of hold his own. And then there was obviously Ty Dillon, who was almost a hero in that race. And I don't remember if he had no tires or if he was just at the front, but it was it wasn't like you just would fall like a rock or anything. In truck, you saw, I think Sauter was on 2 tires or no tires or whatever, and Casgrala couldn't get around him no matter how hard he tried. And I think that was partly due to inexperience, but you could really see that whether you had tires or not, it didn't make a huge difference. But Cup, it was just, it was like the perfect, balance of, how fresh or how good fresh tires were and how bad current tires were. So I'm pretty happy with that overall.
So yeah, the tire was definitely good. A lot of slipping and sliding. It was just good, man. It was just a good display. I think they did that right. So that was a good thing. There were definitely tire failures. A lot of the smaller teams had issues. Both the front row cars, Jesus Christ, both of the front row cars. They needed to park the shit boxes and call it a day, but they didn't do that. And thanks to that, we'll fast forward a little bit. Thanks to David Reagan causing the last caution and jumbling shit up. But I'll bet you more about that in a minute. So, Truex wins the second stage, get into the last stage, and then it seems that things kind of started to settle in a little bit. They finally had some green flag running. They had a 40-lap run, and then they, I believe that was when a caution came out for Chris Buescher and Paul Menard. Am I correct on that, or was that?
That was around 60 to
Yeah.
go. So
Okay, so
Yep.
that wasn't it. That wasn't it. That's not what I'm getting at. Um, because they had like a 40 lap run, a quick caution, then they started running again, and they basically got to the point where you could split the run in half, and you would just make it on the one more stop. And a lot of guys stayed out. Jimmy Johnson was one of those. Ty Dillon, even Dale Jr., who was not having the greatest of days, stayed out. And so then the caution comes out and benefited all those guys when Regan Smith knocked the wall down, and so that jumbled the entire complexion of the race. Jimmy Johnson, he was up front anyways, but it kind of put him in the catbird seat, and that's when things really started to get interesting because Ty Dillon wins the race off of pit road. I just thought this was the most incredible thing. Like, they were running such a quiet race, just holding their own. He was running in the top 10, so he was having a nice run as it was. But then he gets vaulted to the lead and holds the damn thing. It was great. So, but he really held that lead well, and held him off on the restart. They had a small little green flag run, and then Chris Buescher and Paul Menard just decided to wreck. That was an awkward incident. Nice
Max.
job, Max.
Max.
We will cover that again later. Oh boy. So, then after that, then the race, had its final, like, long green flag run. And, like, everything just looked to be setting up for the finish. Ty Dillon, he held on as long as he could, and boy, he did everything he really could with that, Geico, underpowered Chevy. But he was holding a great third place. Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Larson were preparing to race it out. Ryan Newman was up there. Martin Truex Jr. He had to battle back. Jr. was holding his own in the top 10. All these guys were going to have good results. Everything was looking fine. And then David Reagan blows a damn tire. Oh, my goodness. That
was horrible.
Because by that point, that's when Larson kind of pulled away from Jimmy again. He had like a 1.3-second lead. Middleburg's power went out, so he was getting salty. And then David Reagan crashes.
I'm glad you brought that the fuck up. So I didn't even see the ending of this race, so I was incredibly disappointed. But I knew everything that was going on, and that also makes me disappointed because, they get prepared for overtime. Oh, lovely overtime. Get ready for some bitching because they had put a lot of speedy dry down because David Reagan obviously knocked down the wall that hard. Put some oil down, whatever, off of turn 2, and they just coated the damn thing with speedy dry. They took their sweet ass time. They even added a lap. And they obviously did not clean it up properly because on the restart coming off of 2, Ty Dillon loses it. And, well, next thing you know, you got cars clamoring in. You got a big ass wreck for no reason. What?
Newman did kind of get into Ty, I think, as well.
Well, sure.
I don't think it was all the speedy dry. It kind of helped, but it wasn't like that was the only thing.
Yeah, like I don't sit here and want to place the entire blame on the speedy dry, but I don't like NASCAR, so we're gonna blame it on NASCAR. We'll just blame it on speedy dry. So,
well,
F1.
It wasn't just the speedy dry either. The speedy dry was also placed in what is perhaps the most treacherous part of Dover International Speedway, the exit of Turn 2, which if you've played pretty much any NASCAR video game ever, you're always hitting the wall off of Turn 2 at Dover. I mean, it is just one of the most treacherous parts of that track.
Yeah. Ty's just lucky he didn't hit the wall to begin with. He could have glitch spun. But besides that, it causes a huge mess. But race is over because what? They hit the damn overtime line.
God damn it, overtime line.
God damn it, overtime line.
Overtime line. Fucking overtime line. And Kyle, it's already bad enough that Kyle Larson blew the damn start. Jesus Christ, that was ridiculous.
He didn't even get a chance to get the lead back.
No.
Why did he take the outside that time?
Just, who the hell knows? He just thought he could do it. But he couldn't, and he botched it again. Kyle Larson known for blowing his shit. So, way to go on that one, and Jimmy Johnson wins the Dover. Fucking wonderful. Have a damn ice cream and boom confetti.
Yeah, so that's his 11th Dover win, 83rd win
Yes.
all time. Ties Cale Yarbrough for 6th. I mean, that's impressive. I'll admit that. But I obviously want Larson to
Hmm.
win. That would have been pretty cool too.
Absolutely. Plus, I think now back to the overtime line. Dale Jr. actually said during his post-race Periscope that we should get rid of the overtime line at all the tracks except for Daytona and Talladega,
I agree.
and we
I
should
do
have an
agree.
unlimited number of green-white checker attempts at every
Sure.
track, unless it's Daytona and Talladega. We don't need to be tearing up cars every attempt, so I can see it makes perfect sense to not do it at Daytona and Talladega.
See,
But
now,
yeah,
why the hell isn't Dale Jr. in charge of shit? This is why. This is part of the reason why I love this fucking guy. Exactly. Son of a bitch, that's great. Like, see,
well,
now
I
I'm
mean,
amped up.
he is retiring, so maybe he might get a
Ouch.
job with NASCAR next year. I don't know.
Well, he doesn't need a damn job with NASCAR. He needs to fucking take it over because he's got good
He just needs people to
opinions.
listen to him
Well,
that are in
exactly.
NASCAR.
I
He's
know.
already,
I mean,
yeah.
people listen to his dad. I mean, why can't they listen to him? You know?
He's trying to be that guy. He's trying to fill the role. If they fucking let him, things will get better. He's already talking about team valence. If they get rid of that damn splitter, things will
Yeah.
improve. I promise you. I'm not a damn engineer, but we just know it will. You know, they don't need them
It
damn
will.
spoon shovels on the front of the car, digging into the grass and tearing cars all to hell
Yeah.
for no reason. But that's not even the point of this. The overtime line needs to go. He just hit the nail directly on the head. So, it just sucks.
But
I'm
it's so
tired.
backwards because NASCAR's whole thing is wanting a green flag finish, and now they like take that back like half a lap now.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Because these overtime lines are mostly in the backstretch of all the racetracks. Like,
so if
what
there's a
the
wreck off
hell?
of turn 2, the leader's already in turn 3.
Exactly.
So what's the point?
Yeah. There is no
The
point.
overtime line is only to reset if there's a problem on like right at the restart. Anything
Right.
past that, it's over pretty much.
It is.
Yeah.
Because the cars are, wounded up off of two, and at most places, they're fully back up to speed. And, these lap times are pretty fast, so something has to happen quickly. And you just said it. If there's it's only meant for like small problems that happen right away, to prevent that from ending a race. But still, you're leaving a lap on the table, sometimes maybe a lap and a half, if there's a wreck, and that's it. But because the leader hit the overtime line, and then the race is over. So it's just stupid. It's ruined a few finishes. I'm not gonna say it's always ruined it, but it's pointless. It's something that needs to go. It was terrible from the initial start. Uh, again, I'll say this cliche phrase: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they fixed something that wasn't broke with the green white checkered.
Yeah.
So they could have improved on the green white checkered by having unlimited attempts, like Junior suggested there. So
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we
But
don't
they
have to
did.
be like Arca and restart if there's a caution on the last lap, but at least get it back to where you have to get one full lap in. That worked fine. I mean, it still made some people salty if, their driver didn't win and a caution came out, whatever. But at least get it back to where it was and then go from there. This overtime line sucks. It just does.
It just does, absolutely.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
so enough about that bullshit. We have covered it all. Race
Rating.
ratings, correct. So Kane, give us a race rating.
Well, if Kyle Larson had won, I would have easily given it a 9, but he blew it, and the race ended with a big wreck. I mean, otherwise, it was, like I said, it was a great, great race, and I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay, Nick.
I'll give it an 8.5. Just great racing overall. Lots of action, unlike, some other Dover races. The monster was acting like himself once again, eating a lot of cars. And that's like across all 3 races, like I said before. Obviously, the only reason I wouldn't give it a 9, like Haynes said, I wish the ending was a little better. I'm not too upset about the crash itself, because like I said, that's kind of what Dover's about. But just stupid overtime line, Larson blew it, stuff like that. That could have made it a little better if it was the other way. So, 8.5. Tyler?
I give it an 8. I don't have to say
Okay.
anything else. Everything's covered, so
Yep.
8. Moving on. Well, the trucks raced this weekend in Dover, and you know what that means. Where did Cody Coughlin finish? Let's see what Cody Coughlin had to say about his race. It was an eventful 200 laps. Once again, I feel like we didn't get the result we reserved. But we did a good job of fighting back from that early incident. Michael Shelton, his crew chief, and the guys did a great job to get it fixed from the early incident. It was a lot of fun racing in the top 5 before that pit road issue on our last stop. It's always fun racing with my ThorSport guys. I'm glad Duke and Ron Thorson let me pilot their trucks because of sponsor. And we'll head off to Texas next week and hopefully get into the top 10 there. Oh, Cody, you are so misinformed, you turkey sandwich. Jesus Christ. Top 10? You gotta focus on not wrecking and running 16th every week, you club. Good God. Speaking of which, he finished 16th. That's where he finished. That's where Cody Coughlin finished. Jags!
Very Cody. Jags! Very Cody Coughlin-like result, by the way.
It is a very Cody Coughlin-like result. Absolutely. Now it's time for some awards, and we're going to kick it off with the standard boner of the week. Who is it?
That goes to Spencer Gallagher. In Xfinity practice, he pretty much ran over Joey Gase. Spencer said that Joey kind of stopped in the middle of the turn, and Spencer had nowhere to go. But you got to kind of know who you're racing against. And, Joey's a small team. He's just, trying to ride around, adjust his own little car. And then you go hit him. Why'd you go hit him? He didn't do nothing to you. And then, I guess, Joey wanted to go over to talk to Spencer, and Spencer said, go to hell or whatever. And then in Joey Gase's interview, it was pretty funny. He said, well, Spencer Gallagher, he just really sucks. And I agree with that. So
all he said was, get the hell away from me. So he didn't give me a reason or anything other than I guess he just sucks really, really bad.
Oh man, that could have been all could have been avoided, but I hate it for Joey and his one guy. Next award.
All right. Our next award is Just Go Home, Please, PLZ. And that goes to Landon Castle. He hit the wall at least 3 different times due to tire issues. Dude, listen, I love following you on Twitter. You are one of the funniest dudes out there, but god damn, man, when your car is already destroyed from 2 other incidents and you know you're about to hit the wall a 3rd time, just bring it to the garage. There's no need to be bringing out all these cautions because you can't keep your hunk of shit off of the wall. And also an honorable mention to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and David Reagan. Both of them had a very similar issue. Right front tires going down, them smacking the wall, and god dang it, guys. Get your shit together. And speaking of getting your shit together, our next award, well, I discovered this after the race, but we had a repeat of Richmond 2014 where a fan climbed the catch fence. Oh my god! So, with that being said, random fan who climbed the fence, you get taken away, Spence! Train Jacket Award! Because you must be freaking crazy if you think climbing the catch fence is actually going to help bring a caution out, just like that one guy did in 2014. I mean, seriously? You really think you're going to get away with doing something like that? You got arrested for it. Thank fucking God. Because, I'm sorry. I mean, at least now I know the symptoms of alcohol abuse. It's that right there. So, yeah. Congratulations, buddy, because you're going to definitely need that straitjacket if you're going to continue to do that shit. Next award, please.
That was awesome. That's the crazy thing. One little note about that is they didn't even throw a caution for that. That happened during green, and they didn't even care.
Yeah, so. I know. That was crazy. So
NASCAR and their inconsistency.
I didn't even see it until after the race on Twitter. So they tried their best to hide that, I guess.
Our next award is the Cigar Award, and that goes to Ty Dillon for the obvious reason of, man, he ran a great race. And we covered it, obviously, in the race recap. He held the lead for a little while and just did a great overall job. He was going to finish in likely third place, and unfortunately that late caution came out, set up the restart, and he got crashed on the overtime attempt. So that was really disappointing, but that still does not deter the fact that he ran a spectacular race and was going to get a great finish. Also, an honorable mention goes to Ross Chastain, who made his Monster Energy Cup Series debut, and he finished in 20th in the number 15 Premium Motorsports car. He was on the lead lap for the majority of that race, and he also ran, well, a decently clean race, but, you know, he pissed off a couple guys during that, including Matt DiBenedetto, and Brendan Gaughan even chimed in on Twitter. Both of them actually did, and they didn't have some very choice things to say. I also believe that Jimmy Johnson flipped him off while he was battling with Cole Witt. They were trying to, you know, battle for the lucky dog position in case the caution came out.
You say Junior Johnson?
No, I think I said Jimmy Johnson, but Junior
Okay.
Jimmy Johnson, who gives a shit? Either way, I think he got flipped the bird a couple of times, unfortunately, but he still did run, and he ran a nice race. I mean, come on, like in that shit
He
box,
protected his melon.
he protected his melon. So, good job, Ross Chastain, for bringing home a 20th place finish in a car that is not even close to 20th place material. Next award.
The next award is the Crying Towel once again, and I'm just going to jump right into it. Oh, Kyle, not again! Wait, that's not the right Kyle? Wait, really? Okay. This week, I'm being told the Crying Towel goes to, I can't believe I'm saying this, Kyle Larson! That Kyle! He got all upset early in the race after Martin Truex Jr. moved him out of the way for the lead. He's all like, oh, that's how you want to race me, boy? Okay, well, I'll see you later then. I'm going to get your ass. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's the gist of it. Kyle, you were racing Truex really hard for at least 4 or 5 laps when he was clearly faster than you, and now you're mad that he's finally had enough? Stop being such a hypocrite. You race car drivers really piss me off sometimes. You can dish it, but you can't take it. Unlike Cody Coughlin, who likes to take whatever's on the dish. Hashtag meatball sub. And it's not just Larson. It's also Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, you name it. Like, the hypocrisy of race car drivers is insane sometimes. Come on, it's a race. You're race car drivers. You know, deal with it. People aren't going to pull over for you all the time. And contact is just going to happen. That's what NASCAR was built on. But oh no, your car got a scratch! Or you got me loose! Oh my god! Suck it up and drive the damn car! I guess you never watched Days of Thunder. Well, I did, you know, about a month ago. You know, Rubbin's racing. That's what it is. Kyle Larson, of all people, you should know that. You race hard every single lap, but apparently it's different if someone does it to you. I just don't understand stuff like that. At least you dominated and came home with your 3rd career. Oh, wait, that's right. You blew it on the final restart. Don't worry, Kyle. We still love you. You're probably the most fun to watch out of anyone. But, you know, just maybe work on harder on hitting your target before you start complaining. We certainly don't want you turning into some other Kyle that we, you know, always talk about.
Wow. You let it all
Kyle
loose
Larson
there.
shouldn't make me that mad.
No.
No.
But you were totally right.
It's funny you brought up the Days of Thunder reference because, you know, Kyle Larson does remind me of Colt Trickle, so.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Great job.
I mean, he is almost exactly like him in almost a literal sense.
Yeah.
A great job.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was fun. There's your Crying Towel.
Well, we have a worst paint scheme of the week, and that easily goes to Chris Buescher in the Maxwell House number 37 Chevy. Insert cane sound.
Holy cow!
My God, this car is awful. Holy shit. It, first of all, has no paint scheme. I mean, it really doesn't. It's a black car and has this, what? What the hell was it? Stupid thermometer on the side?
It's got a thermometer or like something loading or like something coffee
yeah.
pot related. I don't even know.
Yeah.
To me, it almost looked like a cigarette or something like that from a distance. It just, no. What the hell? I mean, look at this fucking thing. First of all, the Max is huge. Huge. Max!
For those wondering, that is actually from a movie called The Great Race. You should see it.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Yeah.
that. Anyways, it's huge. And it's just like, it's Maxwell House. Like, it's huge on the hood. And then on the side of the car, it's like, you know, it says Maxwell House right, you know, like on a slanted angle on the whatever the fuck that thing is, thermometer. Let's just call it a thermometer. You know, the freaking ass-mometer. And then it's got Maxwell House again. And then on, you know, on the right side, hopefully we have a picture of that, the thermometer, the ass-mometer is on the quarter panel. It's like, what? Where is, this is just no. Just no. Whoever designed this, I'm going to piss on more than their ficus, I can tell you that. What do
Piss
you
in their
guys
coffee.
think? Yeah, piss, I'm gonna piss in there. Yes! Piss right into their coffee. Like, after it's brewed and everything. Like, you know, you're just like, oh, I'm going to enjoy a nice, fresh, warm cup of coffee. No! Piss!
Maybe that's what's Max about it.
Max amount of piss. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. But seriously, I mean, Maxwell House, that paint scheme just does not scream Maxwell House. I mean, if you want a Maxwell House paint scheme, look at, you know, Clint Boyer's car that he ran in 2015. That looked more Maxwell House than, you know, whatever shit JTG Doherty Racing decided to come up with. Or if you want to go further back, you know, I forget who drove that car. It was either Steve Park or Hank Parker Jr. They drove the number 8 for Dale Jr. in DEI back in 2003 in the Busch Series. But it was this nice blue and gold ensemble. But, you know, I mean, I just don't get it. I really don't.
Yeah, seriously. Every other Maxwell House car that's ever existed, I mean, no matter how simple, they've just been better. And they come out with this shit? Like, just awful. It's not even a paint scheme. It just was terrible. And I'm so happy it got crashed. Sorry, Chris Buescher.
Yeah, sweet, sweet karma.
Anyways, here is the best paint schemes of the week. Now, obviously, we included an IndyCar, and great nod to Graham Rahal, anyways, for kicking absolute ass at the Detroit dual doubleheader Grand Prix, winning both races. Great paint scheme, so we had to include it, you know, since there wasn't a ton of great paint schemes in Cup this week. And as well, we included the 51. Now, we've given Rick Ware Racing an awful lot of shit this year, and granted, that car still isn't, you know, it's not like a great paint scheme. That's not why we're including it. We're including it more as an honorable mention, just because of the absolute awfulness they've had. They actually came with something decent, and, you know, something that's actually not a complete, you know, garbage can George Spoonington. So, great job, guys. Okay, now it's time for fantasy picks, and we'll recap Dover real quick. Damani HD gets, I believe, his first fantasy win. He picked Jimmy Johnson, and, well, lucky him, he came home with the victory. And Nick picked Kyle Larson. He finished in second. And Kane picked Martin Truex Jr., and he finished third. So, great job, guys, on sweeping the top 3. That's pretty cool. And, well, this week it was my turn to suck. It sucks to suck. It really does. I picked Clint Boyer, and Boyer unfortunately had a oil leak and had to go to the garage and lost many laps. He ended up finishing in 31st. So, yep, I came home bottom of the barrel. And I was never picking Newman anyway, so I was never going to be able to complete the 4-person sweep. These guys did a great job. And let's recap
Damani won by 1 point.
Yes, Damani won just by 1 point. But yes, let's recap the point standings. It's been a couple of weeks, and obviously we've had some bonus points flying around. But I still hold on to the lead with 433. Kane is 39 behind with 394. Thermite's in third. He is minus 109 with 324 points. And Damani, who obviously joined late, is still rounding out the rear with 169. He is 264 points behind. So now we move on to Pocono and the selections. Since I finished dead last, sucks to suck, I will go first, and I'm going to pick Chase Elliott. Simple reason is that he had a great race there last year and kind of blew it. Thanks for that. But even though he's had kind of a rough month, he did rebound and had a nice top 5 at Dover. And I just think it's overdue, man. It's got to happen. And I think if they can come there with some speed, they can get it done. So Chase Elliott wins at Pocono.
So before I make my pick, I just want to, point out it really, sucks to suck, Tyler. You blew it. You had a horrible week. Better luck next time. After all the crap you give me. So, good job. I am going with Martin Truex Jr. at Pocono. He won there a couple years ago. It was a huge win, and I think he's always good there. I think he can get it done again. So go Truex. Kane, who do you have?
Who do I have? Well, the Hendrick cars are always a threat to win at Pocono Raceway, and, well, let's be honest, this guy has been a threat to win every week. I am going with the man who won today's race, Jimmy Johnson. Obviously, he's probably one of the hottest drivers on the circuit right now, next to, Kyle Larson and maybe Kyle Busch, but he definitely has a chance. He's won here before. He knows how to get around this place, and I would say he knows how to get to victory lane. So go yay yay!
And then he would be tied with Bobby Allison and Darrell Waltrip, I believe.
Exactly. That is correct. Yep.
So he'll easily get there. Will he catch Jeff Gordon? We'll find out.
And Damani HD, he obviously won, so he picks last. He will pick Kyle Larson for Pocono. So, good selections there. Alright, well that wraps up another episode of Behind the Wall presented by Perky Jerky. We thank you for listening if you did. Myself, Junior Nation 5788, for Thermite 917 and Kane Junior 88. This has been Behind the Wall. You've been Behind the Wall, and thank you for listening. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm starting right now.
Yep. Okay.
Shut up. Okay, I still hear freaking Kane trying to put ice in a bottle or something.
There's that better.
Yeah.
I muted my TV, so.
I don't know if it's gonna be better. Just be quiet. Sit still. Sit still. Lay.
No. Sit still. Lay. All right, I'm up.
And it was just surprising to see good things coming from this race. I just was so. God damn it! I heard a click in the background. Somebody taking pictures again. Kane.
I hear his heavy breathing and everything.
I
Must be like a $2,000 mic or something. Picking up everything.
Come on, Kane. Kane ruining the whole show already. Anyways.
Sorry.
You're terrible.
Just shut up.
I'm keeping it together. You're the one over there freaking bottle jobbing it. Come on. Now it sounds like you're putting pens on a freaking table. Just, come on. Yeah, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
God damn it, Kane.
That's what I'm gonna cut down on.
Absolutely, or interrupting. You need to cut down on your fucking, dive bombing it into 1 and 3 every single time we're racing on NASCAR 15. You shitty driver.
It's like the episode where we learn a lot about ourselves.
Yeah, I know. The one with the fuck ups. All right.
Yeah.
Who the hell is
God damn it, Tyler!
Who the fuck is Damani picking?
Larson.
Alright, well, the next award is the Cigar Award, and that goes to Ty.
What happened?
Fucking Kane's coughing!
Sorry.
Jesus Christ! Go get some Mucinex or some shit. Quit fucking up our podcast, you imbecile.
Oh my god. Go ahead.
Damn it, I just pulled thermite. Yeah.
But there's another, I gotta, dang it! But for Xfinity, on the other hand, and I think even trucks, you saw, god damn it!
Hey, it happens.
It's the thermite meltdown.
Tyler's getting on my case about it, so I gotta watch myself. I'm self-conscious now.
Epic thermite meltdown.
We've angered the thermite.